Today for dinner, I will be making some barbacoa, which is some meat in some broth that is very, very flavorful. Approximately 3.5 pounds of beef shoulder roast. I'm going to be needing the following ingredients. A teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of black pepper, and 5 pieces of clove. Going to be needing 7 pieces of garlic, a fourth of an onion, approximately 2 bay leaves, a little piece of ginger, and a small, very small sliver of cinnamon. I'm also going to be needing seven California chili pots. With that, I'm also, if I can find it right here, I'm also going to be needing 1 pasilla pepper. The rest of the ingredients include some apple cider vinegar, salt, and chicken bouillon. I'm gonna be cooking all this the next step is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the stems out of the chili pots, and I'm gonna hydrate them with some very, very hot boiling water. I'm gonna let them sit for around 12 minutes while I cut up the beef. So, and when I hydrate the chilies, once I hydrate the chilies, I'm gonna go ahead and add the piece of cinnamon. I want this to be soft enough that it could be blended in my blender. And I'll show you what's next. I forgot to mention, you guys, that we're also going to be needing the juice of 1 orange. The meat at semi-large, because once you put it in the pot and it starts boiling at the end of the cooking process, it's gonna go ahead and shrink to half the size. It's just easier to find and to serve. That off, and now what I did was I added a 1 teaspoon of salt, just sprinkled it all over. And I'm gonna go ahead and do another layer and then add a little bit more salt. And I'll tell you what's next. I like to use the storm mortar to grind up all the spices, like the dry spices, the allspice, the clove, and the black pepper. If you don't have a stone mortar, you could go ahead and use the blender. I like using this better because I feel like it grinds them to a finer powder. I'll show you what to do next. Go ahead and add our allspice, our black pepper, and our cloves. And I'm gonna go, and it has a little bit of water because I just washed it. Ha ha ha. I'm just playing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grind it. And remember, if you don't have one, you could go ahead and use the blender. But I feel like this blends it a little bit more finely to a finer powder. Okay, so just kidding, it wasn't a powder. It's more like a paste because I did have some water in here, but this is what it looks like at the end. See how fine it is? So this is, I'm not even gonna strain this. I'm gonna go ahead and add this directly. I'm gonna pour a little water and then I'm gonna go ahead and add this directly once I'm ready to cook the meat with the chili. Okay, so these are the peppers that we hydrated with very hot water. They've been sitting in the water for around 20 minutes, and this is what they look like. I'm gonna go ahead and add them to the blender. And I didn't take out the seeds or nothing because I'm gonna go ahead and strain this when I pour it over the meat. So, and this I forgot, well, this was stuck, so don't put that in there and don't make a mess. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and out of this this water, I'm gonna add a little bit. I want to say more like a half a cup. And to that, I'm gonna also be adding the onion, the garlic, the piece of ginger, and also remember to with the chilies, we also added the piece of cinnamon. So with this, I'm also gonna go ahead and squeeze the orange. I should have gotten my juicer, but I was lazy. The orange juice, and this is gonna help tenderize the meat. I forgot a garlic clove. So, And don't make a mess. Okay. That. And to this mixture, I'm gonna go ahead and add some apple cider vinegar. It's 1 tablespoon. And a little bit of salt. I'm gonna add let's do 2 teaspoons of salt. And a 1/2 teaspoon of chicken bouillon. Well, more like this. I don't know if it's a little bit more than a 1/2 teaspoon. That's it. And I'm gonna go ahead and blend this, and I'll show you what to do. You're gonna need a strainer, and before we forget, we're gonna add our little bay leaves to the meat. Remember, it's approximately 2, but mine were in pieces, so there we go. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add, excuse me, the chili mixture. This is gonna come out a little thick, but remember, the meat is gonna release its juices, so this is gonna mix with the chili, and it's gonna become soupy. So once I'm done, I'll show you the next bit of water, just to so that I could get all the chili that was left behind. That way you don't waste anything. And you're gonna go ahead and add it to the strainer and you're gonna strain it over the meat. Remember that paste that we made earlier before? I'm not gonna add the whole amount of water. What I'm trying to do here is just to collect the whole paste, to make sure that this is off the walls of the mortar. And I'm gonna go ahead and add it to the chili. And if you don't have it, remember you've already mixed it in there. If you don't have the stone mortar, and any of the ingredients that you are allergic to, that you don't like, don't include them. It's still gonna turn out delicious. So, and just pour it in there, and then mix it. Let me get a spoon, and you're gonna mix it to make sure that the meat is coated. Actually, it's coated, and I didn't even need to mix it. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cover this with the lid. And we're gonna put it over the stove. So this is covered, and I've put my heat to medium to high while it boils. Once it starts boiling, I'm gonna turn it down to medium high. And we're gonna let this, okay, so this is now boiling, and it's been 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover it back up, and I'm gonna turn my heat to medium. And I'm gonna let it simmer until the meat is soft. You wanna go ahead and be able to cut into it with the fork, and for it to be super tender. I'll show you when this is done. Okay, so this is around 30 minutes that we put this to cook. This is the way it looks. It's still not done, but once in a while do mix it up a little bit, so that you're making sure that the meat is not sticking to the bottom, and everything is cooking even. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and check it. This is almost at 3.5 hours. Oh, maybe no, 2.5. So 2.5 hours. This is the way it's looking. You see, it's really like brothy, so it creates a really yummy broth. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the pieces of meat around, and I'm gonna check to see if they're done. So I have my fork here. My counter is clean, so I'm gonna go ahead, and it's not even done yet. You're gonna think I got my camera person. It's not done. So we're gonna wait for it to be done. 3 hours. This is done. I've already tried a piece, and it's soft. I'm gonna see how it's soft. And I did have to add a little bit more water and salt because this thing also sucked up a lot of water. So just be tasting it as the time progresses, as the cooking time progresses, so that you have the right amount of salt and the way you like it. But this is the way it's supposed to look. And it's done. So this is the finished plate. You could serve it with beans, rice, and of course you have the barbacoa. And then for the toppings, you want to serve it with a nice hot salsa or onion or cilantro, and then some lime on top. That is it.